item, which is a discussion on property tax reassessment completed by Tyler Technologies. This is going to be led by Councilmember Christian Willauer. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. So I wanted to just open up this discussion with a little background on property taxes and where we are. I want to thank everybody who's come out for public comment. This won't take long, and what we really wanted to do is give the opportunity for the public to say what's on your mind about this issue. So, but the first thing is why are we having a discussion of property taxes at an intergovernmental committee meeting? And you know, the answer to that is because it's such an intergovernmental issue. Property taxes, as everybody here probably aware, pays for schools and vital government services like police, fire, sanitation. And the way they work is that every property in the county, every property has an assessed value. And then that assessed value times the tax rate equals your tax bill for that particular jurisdiction. So the tax rate is set by the taxing jurisdiction. So if it's the city of Wilmington, we set the tax rate. If it's Newcastle County, they set the tax rate. So it's the assessed value times the tax rate equals your tax bill. And the assessed values of all the properties hadn't changed in 40 years. So although that didn't mean that we were all paying the same taxes year after year, because all the jurisdictions would, you know, increase the tax rate to get more revenue over time. But the assessed value of all the properties stayed the same for 40 years. And then a lot of people are probably aware there was a court case that was settled, and it said that all 3 counties in the state of Delaware had to update the assessments of all the properties to meet the state requirement that assessed values equal fair market value. So that was a requirement that the court gave to all the counties. State law gives counties in the state the responsibility of determining the assessed value for every property. So Newcastle County has a responsibility for assessing every property in the county, in Newcastle County, at the present fair market value of the property. So Newcastle County, to comply with this court order, they hired Tyler Technologies to provide new assessed values, update those assessed values for all the properties. And those new assessed values came out late last year. And you know, why we're here, why we're talking about this again, is that I know a lot of other council members have heard from residents and from business owners that there are questions about the accuracy of those assessment numbers for a concerning number of properties in the city of Wilmington. And these are some of the issues that people have brought up to me. One, small business owners have talked about their commercial properties being overassessed. A lot of residential property owners in the 5th District have brought up to me that their residential properties are overassessed, meaning that they don't think that they could sell their home for the price, for the assessed value. So the assessed value is supposed to equal what you could sell your home for or sell the business for, but a lot of people feel like, no, that it's off. Like the assessed value is way higher than what I could sell my home for. And then people have brought up to me that vacant land, you know, the land values are a lot higher than actually that land is they could sell the land for. And then people have also brought up that, you know, they think that commercial properties, big corporate-owned commercial properties, are underassessed. Like they're worth more. They're paying less taxes than they should. So it turns out that corporate-owned commercial properties in the city are paying significantly less in taxes as a result of this reassessment. And Spotlight Delaware and the News Journal have both underlined that that commercial properties that there's significant reductions in taxes for commercial properties, big commercial properties in the city, including J.P. Morgan Chase, Barclays, M&T Bank, and among others. And so the city budget actually found that the total assessed value in the city of Wilmington, that commercial properties used to make up 42% of the tax base, the property tax base, But as a result of this reassessment, commercial properties declined to 29% of the tax base, meaning the total value of all the commercial properties was 42% of the tax base, but it went down as a result of the reassessment to 29% of the tax base. And residential properties went from 47% of the tax base to 57% of the tax base. So what does that mean? Just when some taxpayers pay less, other taxpayers have to pay more. It's just the nature of how taxes work. It's like splitting the bill. If someone, decides to pay less, all the other people have to make up the difference. So a lot of city residents, especially owners of more modest homes, have received tax bills that are 20%, 50%, even 100% or more higher than what they paid in their tax bills last year. And there have been some policy responses so far. I wanted to just briefly go into that, which is that city taxes are due September 30th. Normally they're due, I think, August 30th, but this year they're due on September 30th. Also, the administration made the policy decision that income-eligible seniors can still apply for the senior discount program. So, you can go online and find out about that information. You can still apply. It's by October 3rd, you will get 75% reduction. But there's kind of a rolling deadline, but you can still apply to the city senior tax assistance program. County tax bill is due on November 30th. There was a lot of news that the county was going to redo tax bills, but that the state had passed a law to let school districts pay give residents a lower tax rate and commercial properties a higher tax rate for school taxes. There's a court case now. I guess this is just cutting edge news. There's a court case now saying that asking the court to invalidate that law. So you may or may not get a new tax bill. But whatever you do, your county tax, which includes the school tax, is due on November 30th. So we're just here today to talk about issues with the reassessment and to hear from you, from the public, about issues with the reassessment, and also to hear about policy solutions that you think we need. I think payment plans are important, but they're not enough. I think the real goal needs to make sure that all the assessments are correct and that no one should be charged taxes on a value that is more than their home is worth. I also think corporations should pay their fair share. I and other city council members have been talking to the administration about a path forward to achieve these goals. But today we really want to hear from you. And I want to thank the chair for putting this on the agenda and giving the public the chance to talk about how the reassessment has impacted you and policy solutions you think we need.
Councilmember Willauer.